treat the wounds now, but there are a lot of mental health issues that will arise from this. I've heard some of the stories from the local people. Some of them, they've lost the whole family. Some have lost children.
Thousands of people are stranded and in need of help after Cyclone Idai swept through southeastern Africa, causing enormous devastation. Mozambique has begun 3 days of national mourning for its more than 200 victims. The death toll in neighboring Zimbabwe has risen to over 100. The tropical storm triggered one of southern Africa's worst disasters in decades, leaving hundreds of thousands of people homeless. They're desperately waiting for aid. Emergency workers are struggling to reach those still trapped. Hunger and illness are growing concerns. Crops have been destroyed, and waterborne diseases are likely to spread. So is enough being done to save lives? Well, to discuss this, I'm joined now from Harare by Bright Matonga. He's Zimbabwe's former Deputy Information Minister. And Nicolas Shamano is the Zimbabwe Director for Christian Aid. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Horrible situation. We're hearing that the death toll could even surpass 1,000 once the floodwaters recede and once the chaos stops. Nicolas, what is needed most right now?
Yeah, it is quite a critical situation, very sad development. But search and rescue operations are very key at this stage to save further loss of life for those that are marooned, but also, I think, finding the bodies of those that have been swept away, because this has caused so much trauma to the loved ones, to the communities. And yeah, it is quite critical that that operation is resourced, expedited. Yeah, for those that are in places of safety, basic needs are also really, really required. We are talking of food, health, hygiene, water, sanitation. Those are key issues. And yeah, psychosocial support and counseling is really needed as well, because this has been a very, very disrupting event.
Bright Matonga, does the Zimbabwean government have a plan?
This is a very unfortunate incident. A cyclone is a disaster. Even if it doesn't matter how prepared you are or you were, it caught everyone by surprise. We knew it was coming, but I don't think the government was prepared for this catastrophe. As my colleague said, it's a very sad situation. It's a very unfortunate situation. You look at more than 10,000 affected homes.
Right.
They've got nothing, really. Everything is lost. If you look at the sanitary pads for women, I think they are very key. We're leaving those out. I think they're key. You've got nothing. You can't change. You've got no clothes. You've got no pads. You can't access them. You can't move anywhere. You've got no food. You've got no clean water. It's very, very unfortunate.
Right. And Bright, the AU, the African Union, has pledged to contribute $350,000 to Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Mozambique, right, in order to help with search and rescue and just to stabilize the situation. Let me ask you, do you believe that the three governments have the capability to use that money properly, quickly?
I think it's good that the neighboring country, I mean, we start with the locals. Zimbabweans have been united, despite the politics and everything. They've been united to fight this. And it's good when neighbors come in, they respond. We can't wait for EU, but we would like also to appeal to our colleagues in the European Union, United Kingdom, and America, to really engage the government of Zimbabwe. Now it's going to be even stretched more than it is, because it was unbudgeted for. And I'm happy that the government came in with $50 million. It's a drop in the ocean, considering there are more than 10,000 homes destroyed.
Right.
There are other people in mines. They are there, they've died. Others have been swept into the Indian Ocean. So we're really appealing to the world to say, hey, this is the time to engage Zimbabwe, to bring Zimbabwe back into the community. It's even difficult for people in Europe to send money because of the sanctions. It's very difficult. You can't send money instantly. So we are appealing to our colleagues in the United States, to Donald Trump, to say, hey, why don't we sit down? Because Zimbabwe is even going to be worse, believe you me.
Right.
It's affected Midlands, it's affected Masvingo. So really everyone is affected, and the Zimbabwean government hasn't got enough resources to build roads. So far, what I've heard from the local MP, Honorable Sako, more than 25 bridges have been swept away.
Wow.
Dams have been destroyed. So this is just a disaster.
Right. So, Nicolas, as somebody who works in the aid industry, this is what you do. Is that outside help needed?
Indeed, I would concur with Bright. The various needs assessments are ongoing, and yeah, it's good the government of Zimbabwe, the citizens of Zimbabwe, Southern Africa, have been inspirational, coming together and putting resources to support those that are affected. But the death toll, the numbers that are affected are very likely to increase, particularly if these inaccessible areas are finally accessed. So the need is there, and the resourcing is needed. And yeah, it is quite critical that the various players in the, especially humanitarian sector, come together and support these communities.
And
some of the needs are even...
Yeah, depressingly more torrential rains are expected to come. So hopefully there's the capability to minimize and mitigate the damage as much as possible. Listen, Bright and Nicolas, I've got to move on. We'll be paying close attention to the situation in Southern Africa, but I'd like to thank you both for joining us on the Newsmakers.